The whole room froze the moment she yelled it. "Don't touch me." She didn't whisper it, didn't murmur it behind clenched teeth. She fired it into the air like a warning shot. I felt every head turn toward us. I felt the heat crawl up my neck. And I felt, with a strange quiet clarity, that something between us had snapped, finally, fully beyond repair. I remember standing there with my hand still half raised, unsure whether to reach out or fold it back into my pocket. She stepped away from me like I was something dirty she brushed against by accident. Then she gave a smile so tight it looked painful and disappeared into the kitchen. Everyone tried to act normal after that. The music kept playing, conversations restarted in a jittery way. But I stood in the living room, my chest buzzing with humiliation. A couple of friends attempted sympathy, light pats on my back, awkward half-jokes, but it made it worse. I kept replaying her voice in my head. "Don't touch me." As if she hated the idea of my fingers near her. The truth is, this moment didn't come out of nowhere. It was just the moment I could no longer lie to myself. 2 months earlier I found the first sign. Not a dramatic one, just a pebble that hinted at a landslide. She'd come home late from planning meetings, hair done nicer than usual, perfume stronger than her everyday kind. She claimed she was tired, but her eyes were alive in a way I hadn't seen in a long time. I told myself it was nothing. Married people go through phases. We were stressed, busy, drifting. But there were little things. A sudden change in her phone's lock code. Excuses that didn't match her schedule. A softness in her voice when she spoke on the phone in the hallway, but a coldness when she hung up and walked back to me. I didn't confront her. I didn't want to seem paranoid. I clung to the version of her I knew, not the one who was slowly stepping away from me. Looking back, her distance felt like someone dimming the lights in a room. Slow enough that I didn't notice until I was standing in the dark. At the party, after she yelled at me, I found her in the kitchen pretending to wash dishes that didn't need washing. "You didn't have to do that," I said softly. She didn't turn around. "You were hovering," she said. "You always hover." I wanted to say that touching her elbow at a party wasn't hovering. I wanted to say that marriage meant you could show affection without asking permission. But instead I said the one thing that suddenly felt true. "Who is he?" She froze. Her shoulders lifted with one tight breath. For a moment I thought she might deny everything. But she didn't. She just said, "Not here," in a tired voice and walked past me. And that was it. That was the real answer. I didn't follow her. I didn't make a scene. I stayed at the party for another hour, drinking slowly, watching the door every time she stepped out to check her phone. She didn't try to speak to me again. On the drive home, she stared out the window like we were strangers sharing a taxi. "Is there someone else?" I finally asked. My voice cracked on the last word. She didn't cry. She didn't panic. She didn't even soften. "Yes," she said. That was the first time the truth hurt less than the tone she used to deliver it. "Do you love him?" I asked. She hesitated a long time. That hesitation answered me even before her words did. "I don't know." I felt something collapse inside me. We didn't say another word for the rest of the drive. When we got home, she went straight to the bedroom and changed into pajamas. She didn't look at me. She didn't even seem sorry, just exhausted like I was another chore she had to deal with. "I need space," she said finally, sitting at the edge of the bed. "You've had space for months," I replied. She flinched. Maybe that was the first time my voice actually reached her. I left the room before she could answer. I slept on the couch, not because she asked, but because I couldn't stand the idea of lying next to someone who had already left me emotionally. I stared at the ceiling for hours. At some point past midnight, something inside me shifted. A kind of quiet resolve settled in my chest. It wasn't anger. It wasn't revenge in the loud, dramatic sense. It was more like a tired acceptance. She wanted space. So in the morning, she would get more space than she ever expected. When the sun came up, I brewed coffee, packed a suitcase, and collected a few essentials. I didn't slam drawers or stomp around. I moved quietly, letting the calm guide me. I wrote her a short note and left it on the dining table. No fancy speech. No guilt-tripping. No desperate plea. Just, "You were right. We need space. I'm giving both of us what we couldn't ask for honestly. Don't worry about me. Take care of yourself." I locked the door behind me and placed my house key on top of the note. The strange thing is, walking away didn't feel like defeat. It felt like the first thing I had done for myself in years. I booked a small room in a guest house near the lake. Spent the morning breathing air that didn't smell like tension or silent fights. Watched boats drift lazily across the water. Let myself feel the grief in slow waves instead of in one crushing hit. Around noon my phone buzzed with a dozen missed calls. Then came the messages. Where are you? Why would you leave like this? Can we please talk? Please come back. There was a tremble in her words that hadn't been there in months. She wanted space, but now the silence terrified her. I didn't answer. Not because I wanted to punish her, but because I finally understood the truth. Chasing her had kept me chained to a version of our marriage that didn't exist anymore. By giving her space, real unfiltered space, I was giving myself something too. Freedom. That evening, I walked along the lake with my hands in my pockets. The air was cool, the kind that makes your thoughts feel crisp. For the first time in a long while, I felt steady. Losing her hurt. It would hurt for a while. But losing myself had hurt more, and I was finally choosing to end that pain. When my phone buzzed again, I turned it off completely. She had all the space she wanted now. And for the first time, so did I.